On this
people in the
episode of
country.
Who Dem,
We don't invest in the people in our country. We invest in corporations and we invest in the military.
letting the people choose, between real people as opposed to special interests that you can't see behind closed doors.
No, absolutely. And the money doesn't help you win elections. Money helps you buy elections.
I'm gonna name some politicians here. I want you to tell me who you think,
Okay.
whether you think you'd be able to take them in a fight or they got you. Can't really tell a lot about them. You do a lot of long form interviews. It seems like almost whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, man, it's campaign. It's having conversations, man. That's what we got to get back to as people, man. Especially wanting to run for Congress and represent communities. So you got to have conversations. You got to be able to have genuine conversations with people in the community, being able to talk to them, being able to relate to them, and not have to have all your answers curated and all your answers going over twice, three times. Make sure double check. Just make sure you're saying the right thing. The world doesn't work like that, man. People don't work like that, and like you say, man, it just comes off as fake and phony, and we've been doing that all our lives, man. I'm 36 years old. Politics has been the same for 36 years. I've been here, and we got to get real people back into it, man. So anytime anybody wants to have a conversation, I'm always free to have a conversation, man. Again, I'm always speak my mind. I'm always be truthful, and you ain't gonna be able to please everybody.
Yeah, no, again, it goes back to that authenticity conversation. I think social media has really like gotten people to desire that even more so because like you can see a person's not necessarily like their real self, but a more authentic version of themselves when they're posting on social media. I know that again, you started posting before deciding even to run for office. You see a lot of politicians now, like whether that's Andrew Cuomo or whether that's someone out in California, using social media a lot more to try to connect. You were doing that beforehand. What advantage do you think that gives you now that you're making that decision to run for office?
Well, like I said, I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, man. So I'm pretty experienced with what people want to see, what gravitates people to you, how to attract an audience. And again, man, it's just the experience of knowing how to use these algorithms the right way in order to get your message across to as many people as possible. And being so used to being in front of the camera, like I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years, man. So getting on and being on camera, I've been recording myself for 5 years, so I feel very comfortable when I'm in spaces like this. A lot of times people that never been on camera, never done anything like this, it can be nerve wracking. It can be a little bit fearful to record yourself and put yourself out there to be scrutinized and all that stuff, man. And like I say, been doing it for so long, you know, all type of comments, good, bad, and indifferent, have come my way. So stepping into this political game and seeing, negative comments, I've been seeing negative comments for stuff that wasn't political. So all this stuff is new to me. It's not nothing that rattles me. So it definitely gives me an advantage.
Not that either rattles you, but out of curiosity, what comments got to you more? Would it be the political ones or when you were doing more of the working out stuff?
Oh man, definitely. In the beginning, when I would say 5 years ago, I used to be so careful about what I put on, what I said, like making sure that it looked right, and people get ruthless on the internet, and especially during the beginning, you be they'll talk about how you look, obviously, and whenever you express your opinions on things, obviously if it's an opinion, everybody got one, so you get those people who are a little bit, let's say, keyboard warriors and tough guys and gals, and sometimes it gets to be it goes down a racial line a lot of times. So again, none of that stuff that I'm seeing now that I haven't seen before. So it's all good, man. I tell everybody, as long as you don't put your hands on me, you can say what you want, man. I'm good.
Well, I doubt many people would make the decision to put their hands on
Yeah,
you.
that's
I
that's a decision that you choose to make lightly, I would hope.
Yeah, I learned definitely a decision that you would choose to make lightly. I learned that you have done MMA fights before. I was watching one of these interviews. I know obviously your firefighter background. Talk to me a little bit both about the decision firefighter and then also as an MMA fighter.
Man, in my 20s, I was just living life, brother. I was trying to find my way and doing so much, and I still was chasing those professional athlete dreams. I tried to go pro playing football and tore my knee up and was never quite the same. And I said, let me get in this whole MMA thing. Let me see what that's about. So I used to wrestle in like high school and stuff. So I say, let's give it a whirl. So I did about 4 amateur fights,
Mm.
And after the fourth fight, I was just like, this it's not really me, man. I'm not really a violent person at heart. And when you get in that cage with somebody and them doors locked, you got that's it's two people trying to tear each other head off, man. And I just couldn't get myself to that place, especially with a stranger, man. I don't know this person hasn't done anything to me. I don't know who this person is, and I'm supposed to get in here and try to, essentially like cause them extreme harm. So it was fun. I can say I did it. I can say I've been punched in the face. I can say I punched somebody in the face, and both did not feel good. So I try to avoid those confrontations as much as possible. I still train. I still keep myself up so I can. You never know when anybody decides they want to run up on you. So you want to be able to defend yourself. But it was a fun time in my life, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, I feel like it's very, very juxtaposed to what you're doing now in terms of like being a firefighter and going and helping people.
Extreme 180.
Yeah, right. It's the complete opposite. You go from hurting to helping. What was that
Exactly.
transition like? What made you go into being an EMT firefighter?
So it combined everything that I love, man. It combined the camaraderie, the physicality, and the hands-on work and hard manual labor that I grew up with, and then playing sports, the sports background with the whole camaraderie and feel of being on a team. So that with growing up and working on my grandfather's concrete business and being out there with your hands and in construction and stuff, it was a perfect match. And then I always knew I wanted to get into medicine. Even when I was younger, I used to tell my mother I wanted to be a pediatrician growing up.
Mm.
Until I realized how much school you had to do to be a pediatrician and how much money it cost you to be a pediatrician. So I was like, that we're gonna flush those dreams down the toilet. But just talking with a few people who were in the field, and they told me about all the things that you do as a firefighter and as a paramedic. I didn't realize here in Florida, especially like a lot of departments, firefighter and paramedics it's basically the same thing. So it combined my love for healthcare and wanting to be in medicine, and also my love for being one of the guys and being working with my hands and things of that nature. So been doing it almost 6 years now, and best decision I ever made.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I heard you also talk about, obviously one of the big focus areas for your campaign is education and having excellence in education. And I heard you talking about how we need to bring back trades in a lot of our schools. And the high school that I went to, actually, it was a career focused high school. And one of the programs, I went to the law, pathway, if you will,
Mhm.
in that school. And one of the programs that we actually had was fire services and EMT, and like it was part of our medical pathway. So a lot of my friends, once they graduated high school, they went straight into becoming firefighters. Actually, someone that I know, Adrian, he's a huge fan of yours. I told him he was, or you were going to come on the show, and he was very, very excited. And he's one of those people that, graduating straight out of high school, he's working at a fire department right now, and he loves it. I'm assuming for the same reasons that you do in terms of helping other people.
No, tell Adrian I said, what's up, man? I appreciate your support. And yeah, man, no, one of the things I would love to do when I'm elected, I'm speaking into existence. One of the things that I would love to do is I have a bill that I've actually written already. It's a policy that would um, create a pathway for high school students to learn a trade before they graduated. When I went to high school, I had an opportunity to get my CNA license as I graduated. So my senior year, your elective class was essentially a trade, and I would love for that to be a nationwide program for anybody coming out of high school, because we all know, man, college isn't for everyone. A lot of people, just don't see college as an option, especially with, going into student loan debt and those different types of situations. So if you can graduate with like an HVAC license or electrical license, plumbing license, anything that you can use once you graduate to actually get you into a career that pays you fairly decent, you can start off at 18 years old making really good money, or even start off at 18 years old if you're so inclined. If you have enough of wherewithal, you can start a business at 18 years old and work for yourself if you're the type of person that doesn't want to work for anyone. So I truly believe that if I can get that bill passed in Congress to be able to allow every high school in America to offer trade programs as a part of an elective, so when you graduate, you had something to start you with, because you know working at Little Caesars when I was in college was not that wasn't how I'm making the bills get paid. Unfortunately, man, it's not enough $5 hot and ready's that cover your rent. Tell you that right now.
Yeah, no, and it's especially a problem I feel like with my generation. So for some context, I'm actually graduating college coming up this May, and
Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. And one of the things that I didn't have the fortune of having a parent that had gone to college. This is a very much a first time experience for me. I don't have the advice or the circles of support that maybe some other students do. But the idea behind it was kind of exactly what you're talking about. That I know that I'd have not necessarily a guarantee, but a better opportunity to make a life for myself and live a life with dignity. And I feel like even that has become a challenge for a lot of people that are now coming out of college. Just education all around in the United States, I think, has not advanced as much as I think we would want it to.
Oh, 100%. I was having a conversation with one of the people in my community, and they were kind of asking me like, so we all on the internet, we see all the videos, and I don't know if you ever see the videos of like the kindergartners in China, how like they're already cooking and doing like crazy gymnastics stuff, like all this different stuff, and they're just like, how come we don't have that here? And I'm like, well, other countries actually invest in their children. They
Mm,
invest in the people in the country. We don't invest in the people in our country. We invest in corporations and we invest in the military. We don't invest in the actual people that make up this country. So when you see other places and other countries around the world whose education standards are way higher than ours, you see a lot of the workers that come over here from other countries because they have the education that we just don't have here, and we wonder why we are ranked so low across the world in education. And it just goes back to investing in people. When you as a country decide what's important, that's what your country will be based upon. Right now, our country decides that military, immigration, and corporations are the important things here in this country, making sure those three things are taken care of. So, on a big world stage, those are going to be the main things that amplify us. When you look at a country like Switzerland or Norway, the Nordic countries, they value their people. They value they value the people that make up their country. So their education levels that are top in the world. Their healthcare top in the world. The happiness scale. If you ever take some time, go on Google and look at like what's the happiest countries in the world, and you'll see a lot of those cold Nordic out the way countries that actually care about those people. Those countries are some of the happiest people in the world. That's because their government actually cares about them and cares about their success. And they
yeah.
understand that when the people are successful, the country is successful. Right now, we masquerade as a successful country. But if you get out of the United States and actually look at the world bubble and look at the news and how we are talked about on the world stage, one of my friends said it best, man. We like a third world country with a Gucci bag, man. We got this nice stuff that make us look like we all that, but underneath the surface, man, it is crazy.
No, absolutely. And, obviously, not everyone has the opportunity to travel, but James Baldwin says it best. Travel is the cure to ignorance. And I feel like a lot of the perspectives that we have here in the United States is like, oh, we think that we're the best because we haven't had the opportunity. Like you were saying, Finland has been ranked as the happiest country in the world, I think, for like the past 10 years. And they only get replaced by like Norway ever so, like
Yeah,
they're all like fighting to be a
yeah.
better
They just
country.
those three. They just trade off which one gonna be happy this year.
Yeah,
Crazy.
literally, right? I wish we could be up there for once.
Yeah.
But no, it's a situation where like you're saying, we don't invest in our people, and it ties into this authenticity conversation. But your commitment to not take any corporate PAC money or to not take any big money, if you will, on a deeper level, where do you think that comes from? Like, what in your brain says like I want to take it this way and I want to win this way. Is there like an experience that you had, or what triggers that decision?
Man, I grew up in poverty, brother. Like I've never been like one of those people that's like I want to do what the corporations tell me to do. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
the corporations have been beating me down my whole life and beating down my community my whole life. I, I'm not going to let them influence the decisions that I need to make for the people in my community. And to think that these people are giving you millions of dollars for some of these candidates, and to think that as constituents, as people in the community, that we actually have a say on our congressperson's vote when this person is receiving millions of dollars from other people, from corporations and from super PACs, when it comes to decisions that going to affect us as opposed to that super PAC or those corporations, who do you think they're going to side with? Are they going to side with the people that put them in office, or are they going to side with the people that put the money in their pocket to put them in office, that keep putting the money in their pocket to put them in office and make decisions that benefit them? I look here, man. I'm like I said, I'm a firefighter. I'm a paramedic. I'm into these communities every day. I see how we are living as Americans. I see how the least of us are living and struggling. When people call 911, it is not a happy time. I'm always going to someone's worst day, and I'm seeing a whole lot more worse days than I would like to. So when I stand up and say, you don't have to worry about me accepting money from those corporations or those foreign lobbies or those big super PACs, because accepting money from those people make you beholden to those people. I don't want to be beholden to those people. The only people I want to have to answer to is the people that voted me into office. And then on top of that, it goes back to that conversation when we had authenticity. I can be my authentic self because I ain't got to worry about
Yeah.
pleasing the people that's putting money in my pocket. If you're not putting money in my pocket, you can't tell me what to do, what to say, and what to think. And I'm nobody's never gonna tell me what to do and what to say and what to think. So if you think you're finna give me some money and you're gonna tell me what to do and what to say and what to think, then I got another thing coming. You might as well don't even come this way. Just stay where you at, man, because you're gonna be in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, no, and I love how you're really good at drawing parallels in your different experiences and how they inform all of your decisions and the way that you're moving as a candidate. What actually triggered the actual decision to take the leap and like say, okay, I have these ideas, but now I want to, represent people. I want to run for office and take it that way.
Hey man, like I say, I'm always gonna tell you the truth. This all started awesome, just joking around on social media, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you,
As
man.
things always do.
If you know Representative Byron Donalds in Southwest Florida, I made a
Yeah.
video a while back earlier this year when he was talking about running for governor, and I was like, man, I got I'm just my silly self. I say, look here, y'all. I cannot let this man run for governor of Florida. It just can't happen. So if he announces that he's running for governor, I'm gonna run for governor too. Just being facetious. And the comments that I got on that post with all these people saying, "Yeah, you should run. Absolutely, you'd be perfect." Like like it was overwhelming. I'm like, these people really think that I could be a politician. So I let it die down. I ain't think about nothing of it after that. Then, not even a month later, I think he announced he was going to run for governor. And I'm a man of my word. So I got on the internet and I say, all right, y'all. He announced it. So somebody point me in the right direction. How do I run for governor? So I had so many people like, do you need a campaign manager? This the strategy you need to like in my
Mm.
inbox. So I'm like, all right, let's actually look and see what is feasible. So I looked into politics. I looked into the Federal Election Commission. I looked into the rules here in Florida. I looked into how much it would cost, all those different things, what the normal person's raises for these types of races. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to start at a much smaller scale. I didn't want to do state legislature because here in the state of Florida, we are ran by a supermajority. We've been under Republican rule since 1999. So even if I were to win a state seat, the chances of me making any type of significant impact here in Florida, because we would be in the minority in the House, I'd have more of a chance of making an impact for the people here in Florida if we flip the federal House as opposed to running in state House, winning that election and not being able to really do much because we don't control any branch of government here in Florida,
Yeah.
just like we don't control any branch of government federally. So I say, you know what? I'll run for U.S. Congress. Let's see how that goes. So I filed to run for Congress. I got me a campaign manager, and she was more excited than me because she saw my video. She was like, "I will do everything to help you. Just tell me you serious." I said, "I'm serious. Let's do this." And here we are, man. 3 months later, three
Wow.
months later, and I'm Bernard Taylor for Congress.
There. Yeah. And what's the journey been like? Like what have you discovered? What have you not expected? Some of the roadblocks that maybe other people wouldn't predict or expect.
Oh man, oh Lord. I discovered just how much money runs politics. I discovered just how much money is involved in politics. On no matter who you represent, Democrat, Republican, Independent, doesn't matter. I went to an event with a bunch of leaders here in Florida just to kind of, get my name out there, kind of pick their brain, get some advice because this is my first trip into politics. And the very first question everyone asked me, as soon as I said, "Hey, my name is Bernard Taylor and I'm running for," the very first question everyone asked me is, "How much money did you raise?" They didn't ask me what my policies was. They didn't ask me what I thought on any situation. They didn't ask me what I did for like nothing. The very first question was, "How much money have you raised?" And then I would tell them, and you can see they automatically just dismissed you. It was like, "Oh, you're not a serious candidate because you haven't raised, a certain threshold of money." And that's when I learned, like, okay, if I'm doing this, it's really going to be me. It's going to be about me getting into the community and connecting with as many people as possible. Because from a political standpoint, as far as like politics and people that have been in here forever, if the only thing they see is dollars, if you're not raising dollars, they don't consider you a viable person. And that's why we are in the situation we are in now. Money is the quote unquote be all, end all be all in politics. And if you're not raising it for yourself or for the party, they don't promote you. They don't tend to give you much help because you're not bringing anything financially to the party, which is unfortunate. But when you look at our congressional makeup, we have 100 senators and 435 representatives. And out of all those people, about 6%, roughly 11 to 12 people actually come from a working class background.
Yeah.
So who really is representing us? We have representatives, but we're not being represented by people like us. And it's, again, stepping into this foyer in politics, talking with many grassroots candidates who are like myself, who are fed up and trying to, take this big leap and run for these offices. It's everywhere. I'm talking about not just here in Florida. I got friends in Oklahoma and Georgia, as far west as California and Colorado. It's the same thing, man. Everyone, how much money have you raised? We got to get that. We got to get that mentality out of politics. And the only way we're going to get that mentality out of politics is to make sure people like myself get elected without having to, quote unquote, bend the knee to these super PACs, these corporations. And the only way that happens is the community has to decide we're not going to no longer vote for people just because they raise the most money, especially if their message isn't resonating with us. So that's the goal for me over the next year, is to make sure my message is resonating with as many people as possible and make sure I'm talking to as many people as possible. And am I trying to raise money? Absolutely. But I also know I'm dealing with a time where we're all struggling as Americans. And whenever I do ask for my donations, whenever I'm in my videos, I always, say, just if you got $1, if you can spare $1, that dollar will go a long way. Especially when you look at all my followers and how much I've grown. Like if everybody that followed me gave me $1, I'd be set. But we making baby steps right now, man. We getting it going. We built this movement from zero all the way to where we are now, man. It's only been about 3 or 4 months, so I can't wait to see where we are at by the end of the year.
Yeah, and the nice thing, I'm sure this is reassuring for you, is seeing, the prime example is obviously Zohran Mamdani in New York City, seeing candidates that are facing a big gap in terms of the amount of money that they have raised and what they're competing against, like not just legitimate money, but also the outside corporate money that you're talking about as well. Seeing these candidates actually not only being able to put up a fight, but saying, we're not here for moral victories. We're here to win. We're here for actual victories. So talk to me a little bit about your community and what actual victories are going to look like for them if you're in office.
First and foremost, man, actually being able to see your representative, like to talk to your representative, like to actually express your concerns to your representatives and know that your representatives is actually looking for ways to help you, the everyday person that makes up this community, whether that's making sure that you have proper and affordable health care. That's first and foremost. I have a lot of senior senior citizens in my community, and healthcare is extremely important to them. So to hear anybody talking about cutting healthcare and potentially closing down nursing homes and hospitals in my community, that's a big blow. Like 25% of my voters are over 65. That's a
Yeah.
quarter of my constituents are affected by these things. I was recently talking with someone at a Democratic club meeting who was saying how the bill that just was passed is cutting about $9 million from the local food bank here. That food bank I depended on growing up, getting food every now and again. And to see that the cuts that are being made federally are going to be affecting families here, whether that's with their children, seniors, all these different people that depend on the food from the food bank, we're not going to be able to fund it like it needs to be funded. And that's going to leave many starving families and starving children out here on the streets. Obviously, you want people in Congress who wouldn't vote against that, who aren't going to vote to have people starving in the community. Like that's, I don't know where we lost humanity along the way, unfortunately. And I don't get to be disconnected from humanity because, again, every third day I go to work and I'm seeing it. Like I don't get to just look at people as numbers and statistics and just like again just numbers on a piece of paper. Like I have to look into these people's eyes. I see the tears. I see the pain. I see the frustration. And to yeah, we work on dealing with it as first responders and we find ways to cope, but it's not like it doesn't affect you. It's not like you don't take it home with you sometimes and just the worst thing in the world is going to a home and you know that home is like desolate and you're seeing children in this home and this is how they're living and you can't do anything about it other than what you were called there for. That's one of the other reasons I wanted to run because I help the community in one way. I see other ways my community needs to be helped. And I want to be the person that does that. I don't have any goals as far as, politics is concerned. Like, I'm not trying to be a lifelong career politician. Truth be told, man, if I could just get on the fire truck, come home and play video games, I'd be happy. But,
What video game you turning on?
yeah, absolutely. But right
What
now,
video?
we're
What
oh
video
man,
game are you
I'm
gonna
on
throw on?
everything, bro. We got Madden, Call of Duty,
Okay.
NBA 2K, bro. Look here, man. Like I said, I see some crazy stuff. I gotta find ways to cope. um, but yeah, man, I truly believe that I it's just something that I was meant to do, man. When I finally started getting into this and I started talking with people and I started getting more engaged and more informed and doing more research about how the decisions that are made at the local, state, and federal level impact our community so much, and we're just not as engaged as we need to be in our local politics, our state politics, and even our federal politics. We only get engaged every 4 years when there are elections every year. So I've truly been motivated and want to make sure that I put my best foot forward to try to win this seat. And at the end of the day, when November gets here next year, I want to make sure that I left it all on the table and I don't have any regrets. In the community, I'm receiving so much love and support. I have not raised as much money as people that I'm running against in the primary, and I definitely haven't raised as much money as the incumbent in the seat. But when I'm talking with the community, when we're having these candidate forums, I'm always the one that's getting all the love and all the support. And I'm getting everybody saying, "Hey, we want it to be you. We want to vote for you." And that's one of the biggest things that keeps me going. Because even though I haven't raised as much money as some other people might have, the people are making the decision. They go to the ballot box, and those people are getting behind me, and that's what I need.
Yeah, and like we've seen again, money can only take you so far. What people really want is someone that speaks like them, sounds like them, sees the issues the way that they see the issues. And unfortunately, a lot it's almost counterintuitive, right? You would think that like money would help you win an election, but if you're not saying, you're not being able to be authentic because of this special interest or this special interest, that's preventing you from actually being able to speak your truth and connect with voters. It can be doing you more of a disservice than I think a lot of people have realized, and we're seeing that shift start to happen. Not just in New York like you're saying, but we saw a similar. Obviously, she didn't win, but Deja Fox ran an impressive campaign out there in Arizona, and you're seeing candidates start to pop up. I think you have Kat in
Illinois,
Chicago
yeah.
as well, in Illinois. Sorry. it's impressive to see a lot of these grassroots efforts taking place because at the end of the day, that's I think what a democracy should be. It should be people coming out and putting their voices out there and letting the people choose, between real people as opposed to special interests that you can't see behind closed doors.
No, absolutely. And the money doesn't help you win elections. Money helps you buy elections.
Mm.
Money is what gets you the advertising to make sure your face is seen everywhere, and it gets that subliminal that in the back of your mind. I've seen this guy so much in commercials and on heard his name so much on the radio. The money helps you pay for your staff and all this other stuff that you need, consultants and all this unnecessary stuff. To be quite honest with you, like when I'm talking with people that have been doing this forever and they tell me, well, you need all this apparatus and this big old machine behind you, and I'm like, if there are people that have had all these apparatuses and machines that haven't had the support that I've gotten in 3 months and
Yeah.
spent all this money, so do I really need to be raising all this money for things that I can do on my own? Like with social media, I can get millions of impressions on the content that I'm doing. Ads that get even hundreds of thousands of listeners cost way more than the free content that I'm making
Yep.
and getting more impressions. Like I say, my campaign manager, she reached out and she's volunteering to do this for me because she believes in me so much. Everybody that I've gotten to help along the way has volunteered because they believe in what I'm doing. So how much money do you really need to win an election if you're actually being someone for the people, and you have people that are willing to volunteer their time to make sure that they're doing things like phone banking and canvassing and knocking doors and spreading the word and resharing your content and making sure people get registered to vote. Like all those things don't cost money if you have the right person to motivate the people to want to do it and volunteer to help make a difference. So again, I'm not saying don't donate. I would appreciate everybody to donate to the campaign because it does help for like campaign materials and things of that nature. But at the same time, do I need to have, $5, $10 million? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and let's get this out of the way in case anyone's listening right now. If they do want to donate to your campaign, where can they, do that?
Oh, so if you want to donate to my campaign, please go to my website. It's bernardtaylorforcongress.org. Not only can you donate to the campaign there, you can also sign up to volunteer. So if you want to volunteer to do phone banking, you don't have to live in my district. You don't have to live in the state. You can phone bank from anywhere. If you do live in the district or you are available to come to the district and you want to canvass and knock doors, you can sign up to do that as well. Also, please, and if you see any of my videos, any of my content, please always engage, like, share, follow, make sure you repost all that stuff, man. Again, all that stuff we can do for free to
Yeah.
get the message out there and make sure we have the people in Congress that actually represent us and not the people we have now. And
Yeah.
again, that's not a left or right thing. That's literally get the status quo establishment politicians on both sides of the aisle out the way and make way for a new generation of people in leadership that actually want to help everyone in the country and not the select top 1%.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. And going back to, talking about um, what you're able to do on social media for free, a lot of things, again, we're having this conversation about money. A lot of people don't recognize that, the candidate in New York, Zoran, he was able to also turn a lot of people into canvassers and turn a lot of people into volunteers because you're building a community. You're having people
Exactly.
that are coming back and interact. You were asking people to like and comment on your videos. It's hard not to. You're an engaging person. You're someone that's putting out good content, and that inclines people to come and support and interact with it. Whether that's just a video in your capacity as a firefighter, or whether that's now running for office. But going back to that, the firefighter EMT experience, something else that I've picked up on as being extremely important to you is healthcare access. And let's be honest, right? Our healthcare system in the United States is broken. It's in shatters. It's in shambles, and it has been for quite some time now. Talk to me about some of the intersects, some of the things that the average person might not know, from your experience as a firefighter, where you're seeing our broken healthcare system really have those effects on someone's worst day, as you said.
So let's break this down because a lot of people they don't understand how cutting a program like Medicaid affects everyone, even if you're not on Medicaid. And I give you an example right here in my district. So in my district, is a hospital. It's called Longwood Regional Medical Center. It is the only trauma center for 50 miles, 50 miles north and 50 miles south. The only trauma center. That hospital is funded 70% by Medicaid. A lot of the patients come there on Medicaid. They get a lot of money from Medicaid grants and reimbursements and all that stuff. These cuts could potentially cost that hospital to shutter its cardiac program, its trauma program, OBGYN program, like neonatal care, all that stuff, because those specialties cost money. If they don't get the funding that they need, let's say that the trauma unit shuts down. God forbid you have a bad accident on the highway in the area of that hospital. You have to go to a trauma center. Say it's raining, so we can't fly you anywhere because the weather's bad. A 50-mile drive from that accident to the next nearest trauma center is a life or death sentence. As opposed to if that trauma center was still funded in that vicinity, you could have been there five to 10 minutes flat. Those are the types of things that I get people to think about and I educate people on when I'm in the community. Your nursing homes. A lot of nursing homes are funded by Medicaid. A lot of people put their elders, their parents and grandparents in these nursing homes because they don't have the capacity to take care of them. Well, if you cut a program like Medicaid and that nursing home shuts down, it's going to be two options. Either your elderly family member is going to be homeless or they have to come live with you. Now, what does that mean when that person comes to live with you? Now you've incurred another expense. And if you were already pushing pennies together, now you just incurred another almost $60,000 to $90,000 expense, because when you think about feeding that person, if that person does require health care 24 hours, you have to get an aide now. Aides are not cheap. Them 24-hour CNA aides are not cheap. And if you can't afford that aide and you are a two-person working household, now you're a one-person working household because the other person has to stay home. So that the bills that you were already scraping to get by to pay, now you can't afford to pay them at all because you've taken away income in that house. And again, you aren't on Medicaid, but Medicaid affected you. When it comes to my work, the EMS system and the hospital system, the more people that don't have insurance, they don't go to their primary care physicians because they can't afford to actually have a primary care physician. So what happens to the emergency room? The emergency room becomes everybody's primary care physician. And if you live somewhere where you think the emergency wait room times are long now, wait till everybody needs to go to emergency room for primary care. Them wait times you thought were long will be extremely long. And what else is that going to do? That is going to cause burnout in my industry. As far as like nurses and EMTs and paramedics, it's going to stress the system, and the system will collapse under that pressure.
An
The
already
system is
stressed system,
already,
right? It's already
yeah,
stressed as it
yeah,
is.
it's already stressed enough, and now you're going to add a whole influx of people trying to go into the emergency room as a primary care physician, and then that's going to be an emergency room that is short staffed because again the hospital's not receiving as much money as it once was, so they're not going to be able to have as many nurses and doctors and things of that nature on hand. And again, you aren't on Medicaid, but Medicaid affects everyone around us. So it's my job to make sure those types of things are being educated and taught to the community, because we don't think about those things. When you hear somebody's cutting Medicaid, all you think about is, oh, some lazy person somewhere is not going to have health insurance. My taxes won't be covering this lazy person getting their health insurance. Instead of, hey, my taxes fund this hospital that keeps serving the community. My taxes keep the nursing home open that helps take care of my grandmother, so I don't have to worry about that expense. Like we got to shift the mentality of how we look at things instead of always being negative and pushing the negative aspect of how these programs operate and affect our life. We got to show how the positives of these programs affect us, even if we're not on these programs.
Yeah, no, and something I think it was particular to your district, and I'm certain that it's particular to Florida, but delayed healthcare, right? Like people not going and seeing the doctor when something, comes
Mm-hmm.
up, or having those regular checkups. This is a conversation that I have with my dad a lot now that he's, getting a bit older, is like, hey man, go to the doctor now that you don't have anything wrong with you. so that you can go and get checked on, because when you go, at the point of, like you're saying, now you have to go to the emergency room. Not only is it more expensive, but the situation has gotten worse. And so a lot of
Absolutely.
people, particularly, I think this is the case in your district, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they delay healthcare because of healthcare costs. It's
100%.
so expensive that you're not going to go and take that checkup.
100%, man. Do you know how many people call 911 at the last minute? Like, that has so many stories. It's like, well, I'll ask you, like, why did you wait so long? It's like, well, I couldn't afford it, or I wasn't able to get a primary care physician because I didn't have insurance. Like, all these different things delay us from having preventative care, and now we're having reactive care. You could have stopped the situation had you had a yearly visit, had a yearly annual physical with your primary care physician taken care of. But because you no longer have health insurance, or you never had health insurance, or you just couldn't afford the co-pays and co-insurances, etc. Now a situation that could have been prevented is potentially going to cause you to unfortunately have worse consequences sooner rather than later. And it's unfortunate when you're deciding, do I take care of my health or do I eat today? You know what I'm saying? Do I go see the doctor or do I put gas in my car today? Like, these are the decisions that, again, the people like us are making every day, and the people that we have representing us right now are so far disconnected from that. That's how they're able to make the decisions that they make, because again, to them, we're just numbers on a stat sheet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I really, again, to compliment you on this, because I think it's something that even I struggle communicating to people, but it's the trickle down effects, right? How you don't see where one domino falls, and that sets off a whole chain reaction that you didn't even recognize. I feel like one place where that is particularly true, and it's funny because it's a conservative talking point, is with starting a family here in the United States. A lot of Republicans are complaining about, well, we're not having enough kids, this, that, the other. I think a lot of them have weird reasons for that being the case, but I think there are some, valid criticisms of people not being able to settle down and start a family and accomplish the American dream. What do you think? We talked already about the job situation and people not having the economic opportunity in that regard. I think the housing situation is something else. What else do you think is playing a role in someone my age looking at it? And my mom's now, again, getting into her older ages, dad is as well, and the question always comes around, when are you gonna settle down? When are you gonna have a kid? I
Grandbabies,
mean,
grandbabies.
I can't even afford to eat myself, and now you want me to feed somebody else.
Exactly.
What do you think the problems are?
Just hit it, man. I can't eat. How you expect me to bring someone else in this world and I'm starving? Like, that is so counterproductive to that baby. Like,
Yeah.
I personally consider that harmful to a child. Like, if you know that you can't even take care of yourself, that's the most selfish thing in the world, to bring somebody else into that misery. Like,
Mm.
why would you want to do that? Like, look here, man. I salute anybody who's got the sense to know, like, hey, I ain't even standing on my own 2 feet right now. I'm trying to be responsible. If you want me to have more babies, how about you make it so I can easily live, and then we can have all the babies you want me to have. Right now, I can't even get a house. Right now, I can't afford my rent. Right now, I can't afford to eat. Right now, I can't even put the gas in the car for next week. But you want me to get married and then have a baby and potentially um, incur the cost of everything that goes along with that child. And that's assuming that child's perfectly healthy. We're not even assuming any negative consequences with that child that's going to require any type of medical care. And again, you make these cuts to Medicaid, so we don't know if the child going to have health insurance, because maybe I make too much money and I don't qualify. And when we say make too much money, don't qualify, I mean you might miss the cutoff by like $1. You're still poor, but you don't miss the cutoff by like $1. So, like, the talking points are just, they're so easily like debunked, and it's crazy how we just let these people continue to go with their talking points like they're facts, like they're just, it is what it is. This is the truth, and it is not. This stuff is so much more nuanced and complicated. And if you actually sit down and look at the meat and bones of it, a lot of the things that they're trying to get us to do, and a lot of the things that they want us to do, are just not feasibly possible right now.
Yeah.
The cost of living has gone up, and federal minimum wage stayed the same. but we're supposed to be prosperous. And if you look at this system of capitalism, you look at the history of capitalism and how it's built. Capitalism only works as a pyramid, capitalism, people always talk about pyramid schemes. Capitalism is the granddaddy of pyramid schemes. There is few people at the top, everybody else at the bottom. Everybody can't be the same because then we got a rectangle. And a rectangle would be perfect. Everybody equal.
Yeah.
Square rect, everybody eating, everybody living good, everybody able to take care of their families. That'd be great. But you know what they call that? Call that socialism.
Yep.
And that's bad. So we're gonna have this pyramid, this capitalistic pyramid, where these 1% of people get to own everything and everybody else at the bottom fighting for scraps. Because in order to be a billionaire, in order to be a potential trillionaire, you gotta have a bottom. There are
Yep.
no billionaires without a slave class or a low working class or impoverished class. It doesn't work in a capitalistic society. There is no such thing as a capitalistic society where everybody's doing good. It's not possible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's counterintuitive to the system, right? If everybody's doing good, then that means that somebody isn't doing great. And ultimately, those people at the top, they're looking to do great. And it goes again, talking about the interconnectedness here. It goes back to the issue that you're talking about when it comes to our elected officials. A lot of the times, like they don't realize that we can't do these things because the things that they're asking us to do were handed to them. So when you actually have to make the effort, whether you're talking about the example, right, home ownership, purchasing
Hmm.
your first time home, that is something that inclines you to settle down and start a family and whatnot. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to start a family, or you're not going to be able
Correct.
to do the other things that they're asking of you. And a lot of these politicians, again, they come from privileged background, and no shame on them. I think if you have the situation benefiting you, take advantage of that situation, run
Hmm.
with it. But when you start to project that experience in your lived experience as an excuse for someone else not, you're saying, well, if I could do it, why can't you? Well, you could do it because you had this, that, and the other supporting you, and this person doesn't. So
Yeah.
with respect to that, how do we narrow that? How do we have that conversation with people about, like, hey, there's some more fundamental issues to what is going on in our society right now that we can't address. That's the other thing too. You point at, a lot of people ask, how are we going to fix our prison population? How are we going to address that issue? Norway, Finland. If you're talking about education, how are we gonna?
Yeah.
What's wrong with our education? What's wrong with it? Go look at Norway and Finland's education
Exactly.
system. A lot of these things, it gets repetitive,
Absolutely.
but there's a model out there for us to follow to fix it. How do we open up the dialogue to be able to actually, point to those models and someone look at them and not just shoot them down as, like you're saying, socialism?
So again, there are situations worldwide that we can look at how things are working and the policies in place and the design of how they were able to get to where they were. Our fundamental flaw as a country, until we fix our fundamental flaw, we will never get there. And our fundamental flaw is there's a certain group of people in the country that don't want to see us all succeed.
Hmm.
It's the fatal flaw in this country. There's a certain group that doesn't want everybody to be equal. There's a certain group that would rather suffer as long as other group is suffering. Until we fix that flaw, and there are more people that are willing to have everybody on the same footing and everybody doing well and not worrying about it, until we have more people that think like that, as opposed to the other way, we will never get there, bro. And that's just, again, I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm brutally honest, and I look at things very realistically. If people didn't care that a certain group of people were getting the same benefits, or a certain group of people were getting the same opportunities, or a certain group of people were getting the same level of success as them, this country would be doing great. But it's not the case right now.
Yeah, yeah, and not only that, it's not that they don't care. It's that they, like you're saying, they actively. I think they know. They acknowledge the fact that they need to be able to step on some people if they want to make it to the top. And
There are
it's
people that will tell you, I will rather be hungry as long as I know that person's hungry too.
yeah, Yeah, no, and I'm from the deep south. I'm from Georgia, so I've encountered a lot of these people that they have that mentality and they have that mindset. And to me, it's always so shocking. When you joined, we were talking with Representative Ashley Simmons from Texas, and it's shocking to me because it seems like we all kind of want a similar thing, but I refer to it as greed and almost egoism, right? It gets in the way of us actually advancing. If you want a society that's more productive, the way that you do that is working together. If you want better healthcare outcomes, if you want better outcomes for your family, my favorite is always the excuse for free college, where someone's like, why am I going to pay for someone else's college? It's like, well, you're going to pay for someone else's college because that person's going to come back to your community and they're going to create jobs and economic opportunity,
Exactly.
which is going to uplift the next generation and, making people see, further than, their 2 feet, I feel like is the hard part. I want
It's
to
the
get
same thing
to,
with the same thing with healthcare. It's like with the whole universal healthcare thing. It's like, why would I pay for someone else's healthcare? You already do that right now.
yep.
When every year, and that's again being behind the scenes in healthcare. Every year, every hospital, every healthcare professional, every business, they look at their numbers. They see how profitable they are, and they adjust accordingly. You don't want to have your taxes come out to make sure everyone has health care because, again, you don't want everyone to have health care. Okay, fine. You would rather those people still get health care and your insurance premium come up and your out of pocket expenses come up in order to cover their health care. You're paying for their health care regardless. It's up to you to decide how much. Right now, you're doing the expensive option by letting your healthcare insurance premiums go up, by letting your costs go up, because again, these hospitals will balance their books by making sure they charge you more for services, which in turn, your insurance is going to charge you more for your premiums.
Hmm.
So you're still paying for their healthcare. When somebody goes to the ER, the EMTALA law in this country requires them to have service. A hospital cannot turn you away. They have to stabilize you and treat you, insurance or not. That gets paid for by the rest of us who have insurance through our premiums and our reimbursements to the hospitals through the care that we get. So we're still paying for the health care. And again, connect the dots. It's like, do you not realize that as a person, you're still paying for someone else's healthcare. Right now, you're paying way more than you would if you just had a payroll tax. Take that out to make sure everyone had universal healthcare.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Yep. No, and it's actually, I would argue it's even worse because not only you're paying for someone else's healthcare, that's one thing. You're paying for someone else's healthcare, okay, but you're also paying for some billionaire CEO's fifth yacht or their sixth
Mm-hmm.
house. You're paying for those profit margins as well, which is like when a lot of people talk about healthcare becoming more expensive. Again, there's a lot of blame on the individual. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you see it with the Maha movement right now and what RFK is trying to do with his silliness, and again, I think some of it it's so unfortunate because they're really good at like pointing at a problem, being like, man, this institution's broken, it does not work. And then their solution is like the worst thing that you've ever. It sounds like if you ask Chat GBT to create something out of a video game, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Um,
Absolutely.
it it's yeah, it's wild to see them point out these problems, but then never be able to actually come to the solution.
But the thing is too, like they did find something to galvanize people. There's a lot of people that thought the system was broken. Now they don't have the solution to fix it, but they were the ones out there like on the side of anti-establishment. It's like, oh, this is broken. Let's get in here and let's break it all down and build it back up. Break it all. It's broken. I agree with you. It's 100% broken. Let's get in here and fix it. All right, and then we voted, and they got in there, and I ain't seen a hammer and nail fix nothing yet.
No, just breaking more things.
Like we nothing. We 7 months into this thing and I ain't seen nothing get fixed yet. We still dealing with the same corrupt people. We still dealing with the same people not caring about the needs of everyday citizens. It's the same old boat, just a different group of people getting rich now. And until we realize as a country and as a community that if we just keep voting in the quote unquote shiny objects, the people that raise all the money, the people that are on all the TV ads, the people that are, in our face 24 hours a day, the people that we're told to get behind, it ain't gonna change, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. On that note, I want to ask you some lighthearted questions. Have a little
Absolutely.
bit more fun. Obviously with your MMA experience, I'm gonna name some politicians here. I want you to tell me who you think,
Okay.
whether you think you'd be able to take them in a fight or they got you.
All right,
I,
I got
I
you.
I was selective here, try to not get you in any trouble here. So I'm gonna start
No
with
worries.
Rasputin. You remember Rasputin, Russian in the early 1900s.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh man, you gotta be careful with the Russians, man. They they got some wrestling stuff that you don't know, brother. I'm telling you, man. They take their wrestling very serious over there. Um, I think I give it to me though. I think I can give it to me though. But it
Yeah.
wouldn't be easy. It would not be easy. If we getting on the ground, it's gonna be hard.
Okay. All right. So you got to keep the game up. You got
Yeah,
to.
gotta keep it striking. We gotta have a striking battle. If we go on the ground, it might be a little issue.
Well, I'm not even going to say this punchline. This is terrible. Matt Gates is the next question. Matt Gates, who's got it in a fight?
Uh, if I ever got locked in the cage with Matt Gates, just know that the police better be nearby. Like it will be some unsanctioned violence going on in that cage. You can promise
I
me
would
that.
say that it's good that he has an EMT nearby, but I don't think that that's going to
Yeah,
help out in
no,
this
no,
situation.
no, he needs a different one.
All right. Genghis Khan.
He got that one, brother. He
Yeah.
got. I ain't messing with Genghis Khan, man. He got it, bro. You know how many people that man took out?
A
No,
lot.
sir. He got it.
President Taft.
Whew. Let's see. I get young Taft or old Taft.
Give me both.
I can get old Taft. Young
Okay.
Taft might give me a little trouble. I get old Taft though. I got to catch him out of his prime.
There you go. Kim Jong Un.
Oh man, I put him in a shoebox somewhere. I ain't worried about that guy, man. Yo, man, that's the fact that that man is the unquestioned emperor somewhere is funny to me. But nah, wipe the floor with that little dude.
Does anyone currently in office or that you can think of in politics that you would say could have an upper hand on you? Anyone that comes to mind, Republican or Democrat, or maybe let's go if you have anyone international. Why not go there? But anyone come to mind where you're
I'm
like
about to say,
that?
ain't nobody in this government.
No.
Ain't nobody in this government at all. Absolutely not. Most of them either geriatric or ain't never been in a fight in their life, man. Although there are some women now I would not mess with. There are definitely some women in the politics right now that frighten me.
Oh
but
yeah.
um but no, man, and that's the thing too. Like I feel like a lot of politics is bullying, and that's the way they let some of these people bully them is absolutely atrocious. Especially some. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone, man. I gotta get elected.
We
Crazy.
will cut it out if it's too bad. I want to hear though. I'm kind of
Man, look
curious.
here. When I saw that clip of who that is, that guy Mark Wayne Mullen in the Senate talking about, so you want to go outside. I wanted to be in that room so bad. Like, yeah, absolutely. Let's go outside, sir. Let's go figure this out. Like, what do you mean? Do you want to go outside? Like, you don't sit your little behind down somewhere?
Oh
Oh Lord.
man, no, that situation reminded me of I'm blanking on the history here, but the situation like in the 1800s, mid 1800s, where that man just got the shit beat out of him with the cane.
Yeah, I know you done. Yeah, yeah, I remember that one 100%. And we need to get back to that. I believe we got back to that. Politics be a whole lot different, bro. 100%.
Oh yeah,
Like if,
unfortunately,
if
I don't.
you knew that somebody across the aisle from you could actually cross the aisle, I think people would be a whole lot more respectful in politics. That is for sure.
It's gonna start looking like the end of the Conor McGregor Magomedov fight, where you
Oh
just
yeah,
jumped in,
100%.
everyone was.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to
I
have a
wanted
battle
to.
royale night in the Capitol building. 100%.
It's a fight club in there. That's for sure.
Hey,
The
I'll
unfortunate
take
thing
it.
about it, I'll tell you this though, is I don't think Democrats would be doing much better than they already are right now. I don't know if you've been following the congressional baseball games, but man, they've lost like for the past 5 years. I got the
I
opportunity to
believe it.
go. Yeah.
I've never seen one, but I believe it. Like I say, just looking at the prospects, I totally believe that 100%.
I
100%.
wanted to wrap up here. I wanted to go back to the EMT, your experience as an EMT. I want you to give me, obviously with what you can, the worst experience or the story that sticks to you the most as a bad, and then the best experience that you've had as an EMT as well.
Man, the babies is always the worst, man. You never forget the babies, brother. You never forget the babies. I had God had this one kid. He was in a he was in an accident with his dad. His dad had been drinking, and he ended up had an internal decapitation of his C4 C5 vertebra, and I had to try to drive him from Lakeland Hospital to Tampa Hospital, which is like an hour away. And I had to drive so carefully as to not hit a bump because it can further um, cause harm to the decapitation. And they were doing their best to try to keep him afloat, keep him alive. But we got him there, and no sooner did he got on the table, man, he was gone. And the other worst one, man, this young lady, and I'll never forget her face and the screams she was screaming, man. I never want to hear that again, man. She was absolutely distraught. She thought her baby was playing in the playroom, and come to find out, he got outside and got into the pool, and he had been in the pool for like 10 minutes, man. So yeah, trying to work CPR on a kid that ain't no coming back, and trying to provide comfort and provide hope to a mom, knowing that there really isn't no hope. Um, Again, those are the worst situations, man. And then the best situation. Oh man, my funniest story is always gonna be the chicken story, man. I'll never not laugh at the chicken story, man. So we go to this guy's house. His mom called. She was having trouble breathing, and they lived on like this farmland, and in order to get to where the mom was, she had to go through the barn. So me and my partner, we get up to the barn, and we just hear this chicken like clucking. We're like, why this chicken up at 3 o'clock in the morning? So we get in the corner, we get around the corner, and we see this guy. This guy looks like he exercising, but this guy is naked. I'm like, who exercises naked at 3 o'clock in the morning? As we continue to come around the corner, we see this guy giving this chicken the business. And that's why that chicken was clucking. So he sees us. He turns all the way pale, drops the chicken, runs, jumps through the window of the barn, and just takes off running. And the chicken is just on the floor, like dragging his feet, just like. And I'm just like, I'm looking at my partner, he looking at me. I'm like, what are we supposed to do? He said, we got to go treat the lady. So I just left the chicken there. We go treat the lady, and she's like, have you seen my son? He was supposed to let y'all in. I said, well, we seen him. So we get her in the back of the ambulance and take her to the hospital. But I never followed up on that story. I never followed up on that house. I didn't want to know anything what was going on. But yeah, man, that's always gonna be the funniest thing
Oh
I've
my
experienced.
God. What did the woman need? I feel like the chicken needed more help in that
Bro,
situation.
that's why I told him. I say, man, this lady look like she gonna be all right. I want to go help the chicken. But hey,
That's wild.
I'm pretty sure that chicken somebody ate him one day. I'm pretty sure somebody ate that
Or
chicken
eating
one
him that night.
day.
That's the problem.
So yeah, every time I go eat chicken now, when I go to the grocery store, I'm always like, I don't think this is that chicken. That was a long time ago. I should be all right.
That's
But not saying it
crazy.
can't be anybody's chicken because it's a big country, man. So now I'm always skeptical with chicken.
Yeah, wow, wow. I have, man, I don't even know if I should go down this. I have chickens back home. Never had a situation like that, but now anytime that I go back home, I'm gonna be thinking about that poor chicken. That's a sad situation,
Sad,
man.
man. It was a sad
Do you
situation,
do
brother.
you have to file like a police report after that? Like what?
Hey, they ain't had nothing to do with me, man. They ain't had nothing to do with the lady on scene. It had nothing to do with what we was talking about, so it ain't going no report. Ain't no evidence beside me and my partner and what we saw. And we gonna leave
Oh,
it at that.
oh man, no. I feel like at that point you would want that the device from Men in Black just like hit yourself. Like you want to forget.
I wish, brother. That's one of those images that you never get out your mind, man. It
Oh
just
man.
flashes every now and again.
You just be laughing in public at the grocery store. People think you're crazy,
Hmm.
but you're just thinking about someone else who's definitely crazy. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I mess with my wife all the time. Every now and again, I'll just go, "Ba-coon." and she knows what I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, no. I think out of all the responses I could have gotten to that question, that was definitely wow. I cannot imagine. I'm going to have to start. We should just do a podcast where we ask firefighters there. I got an idea here, guys. We just got to
Bro,
ask them.
I'm telling you, the best that needs to be a reality show, man. The best stories come from firefighters, man. We see all the best stuff in the world, man.
Yeah, yeah. You know, another idea. I want to run this by you now that we're on this note, but another idea that I've been having is, man, and I think we got to do it. I don't know how entertaining it would be, but it would definitely be worth watching. I'll tell you that. The Real Housewives of Congress. And it's a
Oh
podcast.
God. Bro, you be dealing with so many mistresses and all different types of stuff and side chicks and people on the Grinder app. I don't think you want to get to that, man. I don't think you're going down the big rabbit hole, brother.
Might get something worse than the chicken story with that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Well, on that note, Bernard, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on this podcast. Any final notes? Usually when we're in studio, I'll point at the cameras. Anything that you want to let the people know as we're wrapping up this show?
Sure, man. Guys, again, man, if you want to support my if you want to support my campaign, please go to bernardtaylorforcongress.org. Again, everything helps, whether you volunteer, whether you donate, everything helps. Every dollar helps. Also, make sure you're following me across all social media platforms, bernardtaylorforcongress.org. If it's social media, I'm there. Just type my name in. You'll see me. You'll find me. Appreciate you guys for having me. Keep up the good work, man. Keep having these conversations. This is what's going to get us the change that we want to have. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Much respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep having conversations like this, man. I said it again, but the authenticity is really the way to go, man. And it's a pleasure having this conversation with you. And I definitely want to check in the future, 3 months now, seeing how the campaign's going, because I'm sure you're going to pick up steam and, these establishment politicians aren't going to know what happened to them.
Absolutely, man. Hey, chicken lives matter.
Chicken lives matter. And on that note, thank you so much for tuning into the Who Done podcast. Appreciate it. This is a little behind the scenes. I just had to. So I decided to ask what the second worst, story was, and or the second best, I guess, is the way that I had asked it. But the
Second best. That is absolutely comedy.
Either way, I need you to tell the audience what you just told me, because I think Max is laughing harder at this story than he was at the other one. So what is the
man, I was
second
telling him, he asked me what the second story was. So I told him about the guy that got stuck in the glory hole at the restaurant back, and like my second year. So we showing up on scene, and I'm like, what's going on? So this old guy, he done came into the restaurant, saw the glory hole was there, and he had to get himself ready. So he popped a few of those Viagra's, and he stuck himself in the hole. And once he realized that was nobody on the other side, he was trying to pull himself out, and he couldn't. He done swole himself up too big to where he can't pull himself out of the hole. So now he done stood there for an hour before he calls 911. I get there on scene, and I'm telling him, hey, man, come on, let me holler at you. And he's like, I can't. I'm like, what you mean you can't? He said, I'm stuck. I say, you stuck where? He said, I'm stuck to the wall. Now you stuck to the wall. So sure enough, I go over there and I look, and I'm like, oh, you stuck to the wall. We ain't no grease, ain't no oil, ain't no butter getting you out of this one, brother. So we had to take the K12 and cut around the man region. And I told him, I said, hey man, you better not move, because if you move, you ain't never got to worry about getting stuck anywhere again. So we done cut around, and we done got him out the wall. He still got a little piece of the wall around himself. So we get him on the stretcher. We got to put a sheet to cover him. So now he's getting pulled through the restaurant with a tent up, because now it ain't go down yet, so now he's still rock hard. And we ride through the restaurant. It looked like he got a circus tent over his leg as we pulling him through the restaurant. And by the way, this was like during happy hour, so it wasn't like the restaurant was empty. He got a full audience. So yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I think that when you started telling the story, my first question was like, what restaurant was this guy at? Like, how does that? Oh my God! Wow! That is ridiculous. And the resolution there is, I guess, you just take him to the hospital and you don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah, man. Take him to the hospital. Let them do what they do.
Jeez, wow. What's that?
His vitals was good. Wasn't nothing we could do for him.
Yeah, how do you explain that to the restaurant? Did the restaurant have questions? Like, now you got a bigger hole in the wall? Like,
So it wasn't a chain restaurant. It was like a family owned business, and it was like an Italian restaurant. So they had that old Italian feel. So you had the like the brick wall feel and all that stuff and things of that nature. So hey, he had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, they had a bricked wall. That was for sure. that's, that's crazy. Okay, well, on that note, I think unless you got another third story that you're
No,
about
no,
to
I don't think none of them could top those two.
Oh man. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, man. And yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch, and we'll go ahead and send you like the collab posts and everything, and all the different TikToks that we get out of here. So, yeah, thank you so
All right,
much
brother.
again.
Y'all take it easy, man.
Yeah,
We'll see y'all later,
likewise.
bro.